Filters are created and configured in the Filter Components window. To open that window, you need to start by opening the Filter Management window and then clicking on the plus icon. The Filter Components window is divided into two parts, Filter Identifiers and Filter Composition. Starting with the Filter Identifiers section, the section allows the configuration of 5 attributes. First is the filter type. 2 types of filters are supported, simple and compound. Simple filters are filters that are defined using the record attributes, for example, start date, end date, tags, level, etc. 2 examples of a simple filter would be a 20th century filter, which could be defined as records with a start date equal to or later than January 1, 1901 and equal to or earlier than December 31, 2000. A US events filter, which could be defined as records with a tag that contains the value US. Compound filters, on the other hand, are filters that are built from simple filters, or other compound filters. An example of a compound filter, using the previously 2 defined simple filters, could be 20th century and US events, which would return the US events that took place in the 20th century. The second attribute is the name, which is the name given to the filter. Any string text is accepted. Filters are then classified into groups and subgroups, which are used to facilitate the navigation through a long list of filters. You can add a group to the list of existing ones by clicking on the plus icon next to the drop-down field. Note that a generic group is created by default for all filters that do not need to be grouped separately. The subgroup field assigns the filter to a subgroup within the filters group. The subgroup drop-down list will only show the subgroups that are already created under the selected group. You can add a subgroup to the list of existing ones by clicking on the plus icon next to the drop-down field. A none subgroup is used when no subgroup is specified or required. In our example, 2 groups were added, simple and compound filters, to group the filters created based on their type. And 2 subgroups were created under the simple filters group for calendar and geography-based filters. No subgroup was used with the compound filters. Note that you cannot, and do not need to, delete a group or a subgroup. Those are automatically deleted once no filter in the timeline is using them. The last attribute in the identifiers section is the description, which contains a short description of the filter. Any string text is accepted. Note that this field is optional and can be left empty. The filter composition section is where you defines the rules to be used for filtering. The content of this section will vary based on whether you are defining a simple or a compound filter. When creating a simple filter, 3 drop-down menus are provided. Predicate, where you select the predicate to be used. Supported predicates are record type, start date, end date, tags, level and parent. Operations, the operation to be executed on the predicate. The list of possible operations will vary based on the selected predicate. Example of operations would be equal, greater, etc. Value, the value of the predicate to be filtered on. Here too, the possible values will be dependent on the selected predicate. Once the 3 attributes are defined, click on the Add button to add that rule to the filter definition. Using the 20th century filter discussed earlier, the filter was defined by adding a start date predicate twice, the first to ensure that the record start date is equal or later than January 1, 1901, and a second one to ensure that the start date is also equal or earlier than December 31, 2000. Because both rules have to be true, the Boolean and operator was selected. You can add as many rules as you want. When many rules are used, Boolean operators, or, and or not, will be used to join them. You can also bundle the rules with parentheses. 2 up and down arrows are provided to change the order of the added rules. Select the rule you want to reorder and then select the move up or move down arrow. Finally, you can delete a rule by clicking on the X button next to it. Once you have completed the definition of your filter, click on the Save button to save it. When creating a compound filter, a single drop-down menu is provided that lists all the filters that are already saved in the timeline. A text field is also provided that displays the description of the selected filter in the drop-down menu. Select the filters that you want to add to the compound filter you are creating, then click on the Add button to add it to the filter definition. In the compound example previously used, the 20th century US event filter was created by compounding the two simple 20th century and US events filters. Because both filters have to be true, the Boolean and operator was used. You can add as many filters as you want. Boolean operations, up and down reordering and rule deletion similar to those described with the simple filters are supported with the compound filters as well. Once a filter is saved, it will be listed in the filter management window under the filter selected group and subgroup.